Aloha, I'm Sandra Razielli. I'm coming to you from my lanai in Maui to do a movement practice that incorporates some mobility drills and yoga-based flow and asana. So for today, what I'd like you to have is a belt and 2 blocks. And it's good to have a blanket, or you can also sit on your block. And if forward bending is something that's not great for you, grab a chair. Otherwise, you don't need a chair. Okay, are you ready? So, to start, like many times, we're going to start by encouraging the spine to lengthen by feeling the feet firmly on the floor. So go ahead and lift your toes. Feel the base of your toes, your heels, rooting down. Then bring your hands to your hips, just as another base from which to encourage your spine to lengthen straight up. So when I do this, from the side, try to keep my hips over my heels, my chin a little back so I get a lot of length in the back of my neck. Spine nice and long. Then go ahead, bring your toes on down. Take your arms by your side. Take a moment and close your eyes. Still stand with a nice long spine. Bring your awareness to your breath. First step is to notice your breathing. Then let your exhalation be just a little longer, so that the next time you inhale, you can draw in actively a little more breath. Let's take a few breaths with an active inhalation now. And then bring your palms together over your heart. Press your palms in towards each other. As you do that, let more light in by letting the eyelids lift up. Good. As you press your palms in towards each other, firm the shoulder blades a little bit down your back. So let's do a little bit of arm movement with the breath. So on your inhalation, sweep your arms just out to shoulder height. As you exhale, bring them back down. Inhale up. Exhale down. 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale. Exhale. Good. So I said we're going to start with some mobility drills from the bottom up. So we're going to start with our feet, specifically the ankles. So what I'd like you to do is to take your left foot back a little bit, half a step, so you can focus on the right ankle. Now, we're going to tilt the ankle out to the side. So, and when you do this, you'll find that your leg moves as well, but encourage more of the movement to come from the ankle. We're going to do a number of ankle tilts in different positions. So you can practice with this one. This one's often a little easier because of the leg position, but you don't want the movement to come from the leg, more so from the ankle. Good. All right, now turn your leg out to the side, externally, and do the same thing. So it's a little bit different at part of your ankle. All right, and then turn your foot forward and go turn it in a little, and back and forth a few times. Of course, if you have ankle injuries or anything that doesn't feel right, don't do that. You can skip that, make modifications that work for you. Okay, bring your feet together for a moment and take your left foot a little wider to the side so you get a little bit the inner ankle of the right foot. Just tilt in a little. You'll see that my leg is moving, but the biggest part of the movement comes from my ankle. Right, time for the other side. Take your right foot back. Stand nice and tall, feet rounding, spine lengthening. Tilt the outside. I know sometimes this might feel time consuming, and maybe for some people it feels boring, but it actually has a huge effect on many levels of our body. One, you just have more mobility, and having more ankle mobility, let's turn the leg out, actually is better for the knees and hips, everything above, because sometimes when the ankles aren't mobile, the knees and hips wind up taking too much pressure, too much force, too much load. Okay, and then turn your leg in. Same thing on the outside. Another aspect of it is when you have more mobility and when you open up these joints, it sends messages to your brain to actually let the muscles be a little more free, which some people would say call greater flexibility. But there's an interesting correlation between joint mobility, joint mobilization, which is what you're doing now, and mobility or freedom of movement with the muscles. Okay. So then last part of that ankle, take your right foot out to the side and turn the left ankle in a few times. Good. Okay, and then back to mountain pose. Give it a little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Let's bring our palms together. Come back to the breath. 3 times. Inhale, arms up. Exhale. Come on down. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Let's move now to the top of the foot. So I'll turn to the side so you can see from the side. What I'm going to do is take my right foot backwards and turn it over. So I'm just going to stretch at the top of the foot. Now you may find that you want to hold on to something for balance. You may find that this is very intense. If it's too intense, you can always take your blanket or something else, towel, and put it behind you so the angle isn't quite as strong. I've been doing this for a while, so I don't necessarily always need the support, but sometimes I like using it. Now can you keep your spine long as you open up the top of the foot? Good. Okay, and then switch sides. So from the front, it looks like this. Maybe you find your balance, take your foot back, press the top of the foot down, encourage your spine to lengthen up. So right now I'm doing it with the heels of feet parallel as much as possible. You can check to see if your heel is parallel to your other heel. Okay, and then release that. Now, the next one is what I'd like you to do is take your foot, I'm going to move the blanket out of the way, take your foot a little bit wider, internally rotate your leg so you come onto the base of your big toe. Or not the base, the top of your big toe. So when you do that, your heel is a little wider, even as the big toe is in there. Lengthen, breathe. Hey, what's it like to breathe and do that at the same time? Inhale, arms up. Exhale. Come down. One more time on this side. We've held this already for a while. Good. Release. Find mountain pose. And second side. Take the foot a little out, a little internal rotation, top of the thigh. Press the top of the left foot down. Encourage your spine to lengthen. Or right foot, perhaps. My left foot, your right foot. I'm mirroring you. Palms together. Inhale. Let's do 3 breaths together this time. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. One more time. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Good. And then release. Take a little walk around. Let your ankles move and your feet move. And then come to having your feet parallel again, but a little bit wider apart. So we did all those mobilities. We focused on the ankles. Now let's focus on moving the hips, but at the same time you'll see that the ankles do move. So hip circles, simple hip circles. Take your hips forward, to the right, back, and around. Forward, right, back, and around. One more time. And then switch directions. To the left, back, forward, around. Encourage your feet to stay rooted to the ground. Mine was popping up and I had to pay attention to keep it rooted. One more time. Good. All right, so let's move up a little higher to our spine, a little mobility in the spine. So what this is going to look like is a lifting, an extension of the spine, and then a rounding of the spine. So you might give yourself a little tap on the chest to lift up, and then to round down. So it might feel like slumping, but that's okay. It's a movement your spine can do. We just don't want to do it too much. What I'd like you to feel is as you do this, that it changes your arm position. Don't actively move your arms. So once you've tapped a few times, you can put your arms on down. Don't actively move your arms, but just notice how the movement of the spine changes your arm position. Okay. And let's keep going up the central chain. Now, sometimes I have visitors here. I don't know if they're going to come today. They're my feathered friends. And sometimes I like to try to look like them. So this movement is in honor of them, called the chicken. The chicken is where you stand nice and tall, but you take your chin forward and back. Forward and back. Now if you're self-conscious about doing this, like I am right now, because I'm facing sideways, you can see me, just remember that chickens do this all the time. Right? Birds too, they don't have arms to help to, match the swing, the walk of their feet. So instead, they do a lot of movement in their neck. That's where the force comes up through their body, through their head. Oops. So that's supposed to help the light, but maybe now it's okay for it to appear. Okay, now roll your shoulders a few times. Feel the shoulder blades back there. Now, find mountain pose again. Feet grounding, spine lengthening. Keep that length in your spine. Turn your head to your right. Turn your head to your left. Now I'm not mirroring you in case you're confused. Side to side. And then come back to center, roll your shoulders a few more times. Good. So now, let's do a little bit with the wrists. So just take your hands out in front and circle. Let's do one at a time. So with your right hand, circle the right wrist. Encourage the fingers to stay relaxed. So a lot of the movement is actually coming from the forearm. And then go the other way. This is again worth to take the time, even though it doesn't feel like you're really doing a lot. You're actually sending a lot of important messages to your body. All right, second side. In case you're not sure what I'm doing, I'll come a little closer. So I lift up to the side, down and around. I keep my fingers pretty relaxed. And then the other way. And roll your shoulders at your time. Okay, so now that we've done some mobility, take a moment to freeform any joints or things that you haven't moved that you want to move. Maybe the elbows, the knees, any place that you want to move a little. It could be flowy. It could be disjoint, a little bit angular, robotic. Just take a little bit more time. I like going side to side with my rib cage. What about your nose? Can you wiggle your nose? I don't know. But you can wiggle your jaw. That's another good one to open up. Side to side. Okay. So wiggle your fingers a little bit and then set up your two blocks at the front of your mat. And if you want to use a chair for forward bending, have the chair within reach as well. Okay, so two blocks at the front of your mats. Let's stand with our palms together like we did earlier. And on your inhalation, take your arms out to your side, just shoulder height again. Exhale, bring them down. And now the next time you take your arms on up that inhalation, keep them there. Reach from the center, out nice and wide. Now we're going to take our arms up a little higher, and as you do that, I'd like you to lift your chest just a little bit, look up just a little bit, reach your arms up a little higher. Reach through your pinky fingers, breathe, and exhale, release back down. So you might notice that when you take your arms up without moving your spine, there's going to be a limit. That in order to really move the arms up higher, you do need to open up the chest a little. And then exhale, come on down. The question is how much. You want to be careful not to overly back bend. We don't want to put too much pressure in the back in order to get the arms up. So a sense of flowing movement, lifting the chest a little as you come up, and then exhale, palms together. Don't be in a rush to actually bring the hands together. You may find that if you keep your arms extended, your palms actually don't come together when your arms are high up, and they'll come together when you bend your elbows down. A few more times. Inhale. Exhale. And then the next time you take your arms on up, keep them there. Root down with the feet, lengthen up with your spine. Reach from the pinky fingers. Yep, bring your gaze just a little bit up. Feel both feet on the floor. And the next exhalation, let's come into Utkatasana. So take your hips back. Keep your arms up. Unless that's a little too much for you, you can take your arms by your side. So we're hinging forward. And then go ahead and fold forward over your knees. Here's where, if you don't want to come into full forward bend, you can put your hand on the chair. Otherwise, let your head release, let your head hang. Hands on the blocks or hands on the floor. Rock your head a little up and down. Go side to side. And then very slowly move towards straightening your legs. As you do that, encourage your spine to stay releasing forward. So the moment you feel any tension, like if you feel your spine round, like that, if you were looking, you don't want to do that. Avoid that. Then use the chair instead. Much better to use the chair, have the length in your spine, than to have this kind of rounding, pushing yourself into it. Okay, so now bring your hands onto your blocks and take your left leg backwards into a lunge. So for the lunge, place the blocks on either side of your foot. Reach long through your back heel. Encourage your spine to lengthen here. And take a little time to play with it. Move around a little bit. First time we're really taking our legs apart from each other in this practice. Where do you feel resistance? Where might you feel stretch? Where does it feel good? And you breathe. And then bring your knee on down. If you want, you can take your blanket or padding under the knee. Place your hand onto your front knee, so back knee comes down. We inhale, take our arms up again. Press the top of your left foot down, lengthen up with your spine. Play with this balance. And with your next exhalation, begin to spiral to the right. Take your left hand to the outside of the right thigh, right hand behind your back. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, spiral. So encourage the spiral to first really come from the belly. So you're not yanking yourself into the twist. As you go a little deeper, you might, when you get to your edge, you might press your left hand a little bit more into the leg to open up. And maybe reach the right arm back. So you get a nice stretch across your shoulders. If it feels good to look, go ahead and look. This does take a certain level of balance to do so. One more inhalation. On your exhalation, let's unwind. Bring your hands back on the blocks. Tuck your back toes under. Lift the back leg. Good. And then Bring your hands onto the ground for a moment to come back into downward facing dog. Of course, if dog doesn't work for you, come onto all fours, come into puppy pose. Otherwise, take a few breaths in dog pose to wiggle around. Bend one knee, bend the opposite knee. Play with the width of your stance between your hands and legs to find the maximum length in your spine. See, if I have my feet here, my spine is going to be a little bit crunched. If I take my feet back but my heels don't touch, I get a much longer spine. Yay for long spine. Root down at the base of your toes. Lift your heels up. Take your sit bones back. And then slowly lower your heels by keeping the length in your spine. Ah. Let your belly hollow a little. Good. Alright, and then your choice, either come down onto your hands and knees and then make your way up to standing, or come from downward facing dog and walk your feet forward between your hands, and then take your hands to your sacrum and inhale, come up to stand. Arms up overhead, exhale, palms together. Let's go over the second side. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, Utkatasana. Deep crease at the top of the thigh. Remember, either hands on the chair or fold forward. Find your blocks. Play a little bit with how much your legs straighten. Pressing your thighs back. Letting your spine release. Draw your chin a little bit more towards your chest. Actually, let's even bend your knees a little more. Take your hands behind your head. Draw your chin towards your chest. Then, take your hands on the blocks and bring your right leg back into a lunge. Choose a height that feels right for you on the blocks. The reason I like to use blocks is to have a little more length in the spine, because when we come down here, we're quite rounded. And not that rounding is bad, but we do it very often. Right? Long reach through the back leg. Move around a little bit. Explore. Is there an area that could use a little more attention? Even though, you know, this pose gives lots of challenges. Finding balance, finding symmetry within our asymmetries. The strength of it. I like to move in it around a little bit. Alright, and then bring your right knee onto the ground. Inhale, take your arms up. Press the top of your right foot down into the floor. On your exhalation, begin to spiral. Again, encourage the spiral to come from your torso. You can place your right hand to the outside of the left thigh, left hand on your sacrum, but don't use the hands yet to take you into the twist. Take your time. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, spiral. Maybe as you go a little further, press the right hand a little bit into the left leg, reach the left arm behind. Take a look behind. Oh, play with the balance. One more inhalation. Exhale, unwind. Reach your arms back up. Back into the lunge. Tuck the back toes under, reach through the back leg. And then your choice from here, either child's pose or make your way into downward facing dog. Those of you in child's pose can choose to stay there or come into puppy pose. So in this dog pose, let's find pretty wide stance. A lot of width between the hands and feet. Then lift your heels as high as they will go. Take your sit bones back. And begin to lower the heels. Ah. Breathe. And then bring the feet forward between your hands. Folding forward. And hands on the sacrum. Inhale, up to standing. Sweep your arms back up. Exhale, palms together. Let's do this again. All right, inhale. We'll do that. Change it a little. Arms on up. Exhale, Utkatasana. Really getting a sense of sitting back with your hips. How low can you go while keeping the length in your arms? A lot of it is about the length in your calves. All right, let's fold forward over the thighs. Move towards straightening your legs. Or use a chair. Find your blocks. Take your left leg backwards into a lunge. Knee over the ankle. Reach long through the back heel. This time you might stay here or take the block under your left hand a little bit closer to the big toe side of your right foot. You can see that there. And begin to spiral to the right. Open up the chest. Keep the long reach through the back heel. Maybe stay here. Maybe take your right arm on up. Maybe look up and breathe. Keep that long reach through the back leg. One more inhalation. On your exhalation, unwind. Take your right leg back to meet your left. Come into a plank position. So, plank position. Sometimes it's hard to find on one's own. We want to be careful not to sag the pelvis, not to overlift the pelvis. And for some people, it's not accessible. So if it's not accessible, you can stay on all fours or in downward facing dog. But hold for a few breaths. Reach through your heels, from the shoulder blades. I'm feeling how I haven't been doing planks a lot lately, so it's time to get back into them. All right, and then downward facing dog. Again, find a good distance for the heels from the hands. And bring yourself forward. And back up to standing. Your arms move a little more easily now. Exhale, palms together. One more side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, Utkatasana. Finding that seat. Long reach through the arms. Get those triceps to be part of this pose. Folding forward over your thighs. Find your block. Right foot backwards into a lunge. Take a moment, find the space there. Reach through the back heel. Take the block under your right hand to the big toe side of your left foot. As you spiral, open to the left. Maybe stay here or reach your left arm up into the air. Maybe look at the left arm. One more inhalation. On your exhalation, unwind. Alright, let's take that into plank again. This time I'm going to fold my mat over because my mat's squishy. I don't want my wrist going into the squishiness. So I'm going to put my mat on the ground. You do what's right for you. Hang out in plank. Breathe in plank. And then downward facing dog. So bring your feet forward, between your hands. Nice exhalation in the forward fold. And then inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, palms together. Go ahead, roll your shoulders a few times. Take a moment to feel. Let's play with a little balance now. To help improve our balance, we'll do a little eye movement. So bring your fingers together, and what I'd like you to do is to not move your head, but just move your eye. So take your right finger to the right, follow it with your eyes. Then take your finger up. Draw the finger down. Back to that lateral middle. And center. Second side, to the left. Take it up. Take it down. Back up. And center. All right. Now it's time for tree pose. So feel your feet rooting down. Encourage your spine to lengthen. Go ahead and bend your right knee. Bring your hands to your hips to encourage your spine to stay long. And then do a little rocking back and forth. Just get a little mobility going. A little movement. Good. And then give yourself a reminder to use this strength in your gluteus medius. So you're not going to hang out like that. You're going to not hang in, I guess. Not hang. Be stable as much as possible in the gluteus medius as you bring your foot below or above your knee. Play with that. If a wall or a chair is helpful, please use that. Press the foot into the leg, leg into the foot. You might stay here. You might take your arms up. You might take your arms like a cactus. Depending where you are with your balance practice, maybe turn your head one direction, turn it the other direction. Find where it's a challenge for you. That bobble. Woohoo, that makes my ankle bobble. Alright, and then release. Stand on both feet. Give a little shake, a little shimmy. Let's do a hip circle. 3 times to the right. 3 times to the left. And second side. Feet grounding, spine lengthening. Bend your left knee. Rock and roll, in and out. Keep the leg to the side. Give yourself a little reminder. Glute med. Engage. Maybe it could be even the life of the party. Okay, then foot below or above your ankle. Play with your balance. And again, choice of arms. Maybe the arms come up. Maybe cactus. Another variation. As you're playing with balance, maybe elbows come together. Widening, broadening across the shoulder blades. Oh, that one's more challenging for me. And bring your palms back together. And release. Again, little shake, little shimmy. A few circles again. 3 to the right. 3 to the left. And let's come into we'll practice at least a couple of classic standing poses. So to get into classic standing poses, you can either walk your feet wide, or the traditional Iyengar inspired way is to start your fingers together and take a hop. Either way is fine. Most importantly, you move from the center. Reach out, lengthen your arms. You might see my left hand might be a little fuzzier now because the sun is starting to come in. So that's why. Alright, so from here, keep the reach through the arms. Turn your left leg in. Turn your right leg out. We're just going to come into Warrior 2. We did those lunges earlier. This is a little bit different than the lunges, but doing those lunges can help open and prepare for Warrior 2. Feet grounding, spine lengthening. Look out over your right arm and breathe. All right, to come up, press down with the back leg. Lift the front leg. Option to keep your arms up or take them down. Right leg in, left leg out. Nice inhalation. Deepen the crease at the top of the front thigh. Maybe readjust your leg depending. Look out over the front arm. Breathe. And to release, straighten your front leg. Bring your hands to your hips, turn your legs forward. Let's come into wide-legged forward bend. Hip sockets lift up and over your thighs as you hinge forward. You want to have a block or the chair, grab that. Otherwise, let your spine release towards the floor. If your hands touch the floor, bring your palms parallel to each other. Keep the legs active. This pose can have many qualities. Right now, I'd like it to be an active pose. You feel your feet rooting down, spine lengthening up. Spine releasing down. Couldn't like it. Feet root down, legs active. Alright, and then to come up, walk your hands a little forward. Either walk your feet a little closer or hop them a little closer. Act towards each other. And inhale, come up to standing. Mountain pose again. Roll your shoulders. Alright, one more standing pose for 2 days. Let's take the arms and legs wide. Coming into Parsvakonasana, right leg in, left leg in, right leg out. Bend the front knee just like we did earlier, but this time take your hand onto your sacrum. Lift your right arm on up. Open up the side of the chest. Keep it open as you bring your forearm onto your thigh. Press the forearm into the thigh, spiral your spine open, and then bring the left arm up and over. Go ahead and turn. Breathe. Come up, use that back leg. Inhale, come up. Second side, left leg turns out as the right leg turns in. Arms up towards warrior 2. Right hand behind your back. Open up the left side of your cage. Keep that length. Place your forearm onto the thigh. Spiral the spine. Breathe. And then right arm up and over. Root down with the back leg. Inhale, come up. And one more time, wide-legged forward bend, but this time I do want you to get your blocks. So if they're not within reach, bring your feet together, go ahead and get them. Find a good way to get them. And hinge forward. Walk the blocks as far forward as they will go. Use that to get a lot of length in your spine. Sit bones lift, spine lengthens. Breathe. Walk your hands back under your shoulders. Lengthen your spine. Bend your knees. Bring your hands to your hips. Good. Walk your feet together. Take a moment. Roll your shoulders. Let's come back a little to the joint mobility that we started with. So earlier we did a lot of things with the ankles. Now I'd like you to do a little bit more with the ankles. If you need a little help for balance, grab a chair. Otherwise, we're going to just take your right foot in front and circle the ankle. Encourage a full range of movement. For added challenge, as you circle your right ankle, circle your left wrist. And then reverse directions. And release that. Second side. Lift the left ankle. Circle, maybe circle the right wrist. And then reverse directions. Good. And then release. One last mountain pose. Feel your feet grounding down. Encourage your spine to lengthen up. Just take in that you've done a lot of movements today. Joint mobility, fluidity, strength, flexibility to help take better care of yourself so you move and groove more freely with greater strength, alacrity, and hopefully joy and wonder as well. Alright, so let's make our way down to the ground. Give yourself a little time to flow. The last number of movements we did were fairly angular, so any place you want to flow, let it flow. And flow your way down to the ground. Go ahead, lie down on your back. With your knees bent. Bring your hands on your lower belly and take a longer exhalation. Great. Then go ahead and take your right ankle over your left thigh so the thigh spins out a little. Bring the knee into your chest. A little hip opening there. And as you're here, you might circle your thigh around a little one direction. Circle the left thigh, that is, which will move the right thigh. Circle the other direction. Good, and release. Place your right foot down, left foot now, left ankle over the thigh. Bring your knee into the chest. Circle. Not so much like a fast circle, but just a little bit of movement exploration. You'll feel areas that feel good to stretch, that feel good to pay attention to. Good. And then place that foot on the floor, right foot, left foot. Take a block, put it between your knees. Take your arms out to your side about shoulder height. You can have them like a cactus or wide. Lift your hips off the floor, shift them to the left, and then slowly bring your knees to the right. As you bring your knees to the right, encourage your spine to spiral. So you may find that your head turns to the left. Just take your time here with your breath. The next inhalation, bring your knees up. Lift your hips, shift them to the left. Take your knees down to the right. Bring the knees back up. Put the block off to your side, and now get anything you might want for Shavasana, for relaxation. If some of you are working with a rib drop so as release, you might take a blanket or block under your head, or you may choose to just lie down flat on the floor. Make sure you're in a spot where there's nothing in your way. You can roll your arms so your palms face up towards the ceiling. Let your jaw soften. Let your breath flow. And let the flow of the breath guide you to Shavasana, to relaxation. And then, slowly and gently, bring your awareness back to your body and back to your breath. Bring a little movement to your fingers, bring a little movement to your toes, to your wrists and ankles, and bend one knee at a time. Roll over to your side. And make your way up to sitting. Just take a moment to be here. Sit bones grounding, spine lengthening. Be with your breath. Be with your body. And gratitude for all the parts that do move, even though some might not always move the way we want them to. Many of our parts do move. And we can enjoy that movement. And may our practice help support us to continue to move with wonder, delight, and curiosity. Namaste. And thank you for joining me. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you'll join me again.